Men of Reddit, what's a harsh reality you've had to accept as a man? People make time for the things they care about. It was hard to come to terms with being the person that wasn't cared for. I'm 100% sure that if I didn't instigate every conversation I have with people, about 80 to 90% of them wouldn't even ask to talk slash a hang. I hit my 30s and stopped reaching out first or just showing up to hang out with people who I loved and who I know to some degree love me. The phone never rings. Our lives are just in different places. They have kids now, etc. Sometimes that understandable sentiment can screw you over, though, as other people you care about can feel the same way. And from that feeling comes two people never seeing each other because they feel they should be reached out to first. Sometimes, it's worth it to set the pride aside to see if a pattern develops. I did this to my best friend. We didn't talk for like 7 years. I don't even know why we drifted used to talk every day. New game came out and he hit me up. We apologized to each other about being shitty friends to each other. Now I see him every single week, hang out with his kids and wife. They're all great. I decided that day that I don't really care if I'm the one to reach out to people. We all have busy fucking lives, and if I want to reach out, I just will. None of this slighted bullshit, or who should reach out first blah blah. I just pick up the phone. If you're interested in harsh realities every woman faces, subscribe and find it on our channel. Man this. Even harder when it's a parent who can't make the time. But learn the lesson and do better for your own people. Negative examples are still examples. So well said, I tell my daughter that all the time, that I've learned more from what my parents didn't do than what they did. I don't know you, my friend, but I'm super proud of you. And anyone else that understands this. Not being loved or cared for correctly or even decently by the people who should have can really warp one's mind and outlook on life, relationships. I commend us for overcoming and vowing to break the cycle. I just had a very good, strange conversation with somebody. They described my father as being a very genuine person who was so in tune with having a schedule that you could set a clock to this guy. I have never known my father to be on time for anything. He would be late to his own funeral. I've been having trouble with believing a single word he says. Too much Ohio, not enough New England type of thing. Say what you fucking mean, goddammit. Be direct. I had to tell this guy that this man he sees as being as on time as a Swiss Army atomic clock is not the same guy that I know. Not even a little bit. I hope this gambit works out. Outside of a partner, it's very hard to find emotional and mental health support. Even with a partner, it's difficult to find emotional and mental health support. Yep, partner, no partner, gay, straight, trans, black, white, brown, tall, short, skinny, fat. As a man with mental health issues, it fucking sucks navigating care and even harder getting support from people in my life that care for longer than the moment I tell them. That's why a dedicated support group is invaluable. Everyone is invested, to varying degrees. Even an online group. I found a support group here on Reddit. Honestly, you're right. It doesn't matter the person, it's very easy to not have the help you need. As both a trans person and a woman, I'm not taken seriously by medical professionals, and if I come to them with anything serious, their first blame is on my HRT medication before even testing me for anything. Care in general, at least in America where I live, is fucking ass. It took me years to find a therapist that even remotely understood some of the shit I go through, man. It's fucking exhausting. That's the part that really hurts me. My wife cares about me a lot, and I care for her a lot. When she's going through a crisis, I'm there as much as humanly possible. Sometimes it's too much and I need to let her cool off on her own. But that's only. Once she snapped at me for trying to cheer her up or talk about whatever the problem is, she hates talking about the solution to the problem she's experiencing, and I understand I might be too solutions-focused. But you might see why in the next paragraph, and if the only results of feeling like shit about something is inaction, I don't understand the point of allowing those emotions to continue. If I have a slight frustration and then have the gall to voice it, it leads to a crisis on her end. No support, total withdrawal. And that's what happens when she's starting from neutral. I can't bring this up because I've tried, and it just leads to crisis. I don't know, it's just getting tiring. The thing is, there are less and less services for men available every year. There used to be men's sheds, which were like support groups who worked on projects together, but since they're for men specifically, many have been forced to shut down because they didn't allow women to join. There are no shelters for men. There are no services for men. Men who reveal their weaknesses to women are scorned, hated, and abandoned. So many men are emotional toddlers, it's legitimately sad. Even my friends that seemingly want to be supportive don't know how. Men are told to suck it up and not bother anyone. Yep, at the ripe old age of 7/8 years old, my dad taught me to never cry. He said I was only ever allowed to cry to my wife one day when I was older. That was the only time it was acceptable. Little did he know, though, him screaming and emotionally/verbally abusing me every time I cried led to me not being able to cry anymore. I can feel it. As if I'm about to cry, my eyes might start to water a little bit. I might feel a lump in my throat and stomach, but then it immediately just disappears. No matter how much I try to go back to the thought or whatever that made me feel like I was about to cry, it doesn't matter. It's gone. I literally can't do it. It's like something in my brain just blocks it. Like it actively recognizes something painful and immediately hides it somewhere else deep in my brain. And no matter how much I try to find it, I never will. I've actually had much better luck getting that support from the boys than from any of the girls I've dated. I find that no matter what they might say on the topic, a lot of women really don't find it attractive when a man shows real emotional vulnerability. No one is coming to save you. Ultimately, you're on your own. When my father was dying in the ER, my mom and my older sister looked to me for the solid foundation to hold it all together because that's what I always did in times of crisis. I had a level head and took care of business because I wasn't directly affected and could remain calm. This time was different, and I fell apart when they needed me most. I still feel a little shame about that, but damn it, he was my dad too and my best friend. I needed help. So you become a man when you realize nobody is going to save you. It's a quote I heard some time ago. It hits home a lot. The end result is I prioritize myself, my priorities, and my well-being now because nobody else is going to. I'm going to lose my hair. Shitballs. On one hand, I won't be bald like Dad, but I'll have grays in high school. Thanks, Grandma. Hey, at least you can dye it. My husband started balding 5 years ago. Mainly in just a couple of spots, he shaves his head now. And it's so sexy. Also, when his hair grows in a little, his bald spots are so soft, and I like to rub them. Hair is not that important when it comes to attraction. I've lost mine, and I just don't care. I mean, if I had the choice, I guess I'd have it back, but I'm just not that fussed. I've accepted it. Shave my head with no guard once a week, I think. Trying to cling on to what's left when you're bald on top just makes you look older and more fuddy-duddy. Hey, Prince William, just shave it. Also saves me a lot of money on barbers, as I do my own with clippers. Showering and drying my head is quicker and easier. Main downsides are that I really feel the cold on my head now, and pretty much have to wear a hat in the winter outside. And I really feel the sun too, and am prone to burning and sunstroke if I don't wear a hat when it's sunny. Although living in the UK, this isn't a constant issue. That my emotions do not matter as much as everyone else in the family. Yep, suck it up for the kids. Suck it up for the wife. Suck it up for the family. Men are just expected to just deal. Yeah, my ex-girlfriend's mom had a stupid little sign on the wall in their house that said, "If mom isn't happy, nobody's happy. If dad isn't happy, who cares?" They all thought it was hilarious. I thought it was really sad, but it honestly summed up their family pretty well. They treated the dad like shit quite often, completely disregarding any of his feelings and sometimes just blatantly telling him to shut up because nobody cares about what he has to say. Dude was just telling a funny story from his work. He wasn't even talking to them, he was talking to me. If he ever said anything about it, they acted like he was the asshole for getting upset. Hope he got out of there like you did. No, from what I've heard, he's still there. Dude had a pretty shitty life. His first kid was either murdered or killed herself when she was a teenager. Ruined his first marriage. Now he's old and retired and probably feels like it's too late to start a new family. He just sucks it up and deals with it for the family he has left. Damn, I feel like this a lot in my house, wife and kids. They can all use angry voices, harsh or condescending words, slam doors to each other as well as me. And I am the one who is always trying to calm them down and to use gentle words to converse, especially if it is high emotions. And B, this isn't all the time in my house, but often enough to be common enough. But guess what? If I've had a tough day and get upset about something that was said and call it out, it's now time to have a huge argument and it's all blamed on me for being an asshole. I will just get back to being the spineless husband and father you all seem to want. My opinion on most things is a passing comment not worthy of consideration for the most part, such as any positive suggestions I have for a project, how we could schedule our weekend more efficiently, how big the new fridge should be because any bigger it won't fit into the cabinetry. Surprise! They got a huge fridge and had to pull out cabinetry to actually get it in. Or calmly explaining how the dishwasher isn't going to work when everything is stacked over the top of everything. All the bowls are so tightly pressed against each other that no water can get in between them. And if I didn't clean the dishwasher filter every few days, it just gets left until I get the usual dishwasher isn't working again. Everything is filthy. Sigh. Edit. Sorry, my house isn't always like this. Your comment just released a valve in me. Ha. No matter how you shake and dance, that final drop goes down your pants. That my abuse I suffered at the hands of my girlfriend will never be taken seriously. As a woman, I used to have a friend who literally treated her boyfriend like a hated dog. Nasty bitch. I asked her and pointed out how she treated him. I was at his side. I looked out for him. Now he has a different girlfriend and the ex cannot move on or let go. She thinks the new girl stole him. She might have, but she treated him right. A lot of others saw it too and banned her from places, the bar chef banning her from the bar. I wish you people like us who see you and your pain, and I am so sorry for what happened to you. Sexual assault too. It's beyond being believed, it genuinely just matters less. This happened to my cousin, so his ex-girlfriend could get pregnant and try to keep him. He won't ever discuss it with family, and only a handful of us know. We'll always respect his decision, but we always look out for him and his kid. And that respect is the only reason she isn't 6 feet under. Professor Don Dutton has found in his research that half of domestic violence is reciprocal. The other half? 35%. It's women abusing men, and 15% men abusing women. You know that stereotypical "don't abuse women" posters, where the woman has a black eye and a hand over her mouth and so on? That's 5% of all abuse. The minority of abuse cases is used to portray the majority. But as I said elsewhere, nothing will change. People say men should be more emotionally open when in reality they want men to be more emotionally mature. But people trip along the way to maturity and society is not always so kind to them. Yes, but in reality it is still unattractive to show what could be considered a mature take on a weaker emotion, like sadness, expressing your needs, your unhappiness. Quickest way to have a girl leave you, or many men to lose some respect, is by getting on her emotional level no matter what they tell you or think. Every person would say, "No, not me," until they are in the foxhole with a man opening himself up to you in a way they weren't prepared for, his being anything more than a strong oak to swing upon. This is fucking depressing, and generally true, but not always. It's so expected of us to be stoic and never cry. No matter how your outlook on whether it's good or bad to see a man cry, it's still jarring to many. There was a post of a 19-year-old kid that was stunned, maybe even scarred, that he saw his dad cry. He wasn't saying it in a bad or demeaning way, but seeing his father figure show a moment of weakness kept him up at night, and that's fucking wild to me. Once we get past that hurdle, I think men's mental health will be taken more seriously, but it's a long fucking battle. And then, if you open up to a woman, it's generally met with hostility. It's always mansplaining, emotional labor. That's because of other men. Men's problems are not women's responsibility, etc. Not to mention how if you do, you're also usually opening to all of that woman friends. Other than my wife, I only really open up to other men. That feeling of safety when you hug your dad when you're small goes away, and you'll never get another hug like that again. Instead, you get to the stage where your father is now the small one. There's a reason dogs are called man's best friend. It's because they are what seem like the only creatures who truly love you unconditionally. True loneliness is being a man and realizing that all love outside of the family you grew up in is conditional. You must always bear the weight of the world to bring value, or people just don't care. It's not even something that is angering, it just makes you sad, because nothing will change that. People wonder why we become workaholics, and it's not always competitiveness. I would argue that many simply find comfort in doing what they feel like is the right thing, and that working will keep the world from turning its back. It's an exhausting and unrelenting feeling to be up at night thinking you need to do better even after a great day. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe and watch video about women of Reddit. Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.